Hello everyone, Wicked Gaming here, also known as R.L.Parker, fantasy author. I am here to show you my new obsession, shipbuilding in Starfield. And as you can see before you, I have a very special ship to show you how to build today. This uses vertical glitches and horizontal glitches to make pieces stack in positions they normally wouldn't stack in. So, I am going to be recreating this ship in front of me to replace my newly acquired Razorleaf, and then I'll sell this one to the vendor to get it out of my inventory. So, let's get to it. There's the Predator that we will be recreating. Now, before we go and recreate it, I'll point out that I'm using the Vanguard weapons, so the Vanguard Obliterator and Vanguard Hellfire autocannon. You can use whichever weapons you wish. I'm also using Spark 750 suppressors. This is the one I normally use because it has the longest range of the suppressors. It's only a 2-mass weapon, and it's fairly cheap. You can use whichever 3 weapons you want, 2 weapons, whatever. The critical thing is that one of your weapons has to be tall enough for one of the glitches to work. We'll get into that in a minute. As far as engines, I'm using the 3015s, which are experimental engines. You have to have rank 4 Starship Design in order to use these. However, that does not mean you can't build this ship. It just means you'll be a little slower and maybe have lower mobility. You can build this ship as soon as one specific engine unlocks, which doesn't actually get used in the build permanently. It gets used to help position some things. I'll explain that in a minute. You can use whatever shield you want. If it's a horizontal mounted shield, you can glitch it into the body of the ship and hide it that way. I use the Vanguard shield. That's the one I like the best. And grav drive. This currently has the RD2000 beta Class B drive, but that's unnecessary. It's heavier than it needs to be. We can get away with a smaller grav drive, and we'll get into that when we do the full build. And it uses the Class B, it's the 104DS mag inertial reactor. It's a 39 power reactor. And again, if you're building this ship at a lower level where not all of this is unlocked, you can get away with any reactor you can fit that's either A or B, but there's only one type of reactor that will automatically upgrade when you do the upgrade ship. So there's the upgrade ship option where you can select which component you want to upgrade, right? But then there's the normal builder mode. Builder mode, of course, moves stuff into your inventory, all of the miscellaneous items and everything that might be around your ship. So not everybody likes using builder mode to do simple upgrades. But I digress. This is the Razorleaf where I have purchased items out and about the world. So we'll talk about that right now. So first of all, you have to make a trip to New Homestead. Wow. You have to make a trip to New Homestead for 2 landing gear. These are the NG20 landing gear. They come in 3 different positional variations. So we're going to end up using one of these and one of those. And then there is the SA engines. It does not matter which tier of these you buy because we're not going to keep them. We're just going to use them to help build the rest of the ship. So we're going to keep the bottom one handy for a second while we do the rest of the build. The rest of it will go away. The reason I say buy the cheapest one of these for this build, and you can get access to these. I don't know if they're level locked. They probably are. If I'm guessing somewhere around 40 or 45, these will unlock. But they are also Starship Design Rank 1 limited. They are Class A engines, so your piloting skill can be bottom of the barrel and you can get access to these. It's really critical that you have Starship Design 1, and I think they are level locked. But once you have access to the 4110s, you can build the ship we're about to build. You just might have to use weaker parts to start out with. So with that said, select your hull, Razorleaf, and say goodbye. Okay, so we're going to drop a bay so that we're not building inside this blue grid. We're going to drop a bay down, and we're going to push it a little bit into the floor just to get it out of the way. It's over there. We're going to do some building with this, but first I'm going to get some parts handy over here out of the way. So I am about on level with that. I'm going to go up one and then start dropping structural components and weapons into this empty space. So we're going to use both of these types of weapon mounts for glitch purposes. We are going to use a single portal to help us move things, and then 3 will stay on the top of the ship. One of those is just cosmetic, which means it can be excluded if you wish. We're going to use plenty of Deimos hulls. That is the rock star of any good shipbuilder. Let's see, we're going to use some of these Deimos spines. I missed the Deimos radiator. We're going to use a couple of those. Excuse me. Many Deimos wing A's. Too many, I did not count them. We will need a couple of wing C's with the radiator on the side, but that's a stylistic choice and is up to you. Let's see. We will need some of the Novacalians and some of the other Novacalians, the P series and the T series. And we will need the Nova wings and Stroud Cap A. Whoa, back up there. There we go, Mr. Sir. And I believe the last bit that I'm sure I'm forgetting something, but the last bit I know for a fact we need is one of those. Let's double check real quick. I think that is everything. I think. Maybe. That's all of those. Excuse me. Good grief. And then we will need weapons, of course. Don't want a ship without weapons. You will not like it. Okay, so let's get our Spark and our Vanguard Obliterator. Again, use whichever weapons you want, although I will say this is one of the best in the game, if not the best in the game. Especially when you stack 6 of them. Notice the max power level is only 2. Max power, only 2. And then, of course, max power 3. Most weapons are max power 3. And we'll also, of course, need a shield. I'll go ahead and grab my favorite shield in the game. The Bulwark. Unless if I'm running a Class C ship, I'll run what is it called? The Assurance 1800. I'll run that on a Class C, but I very rarely run a Class C ship. So that's the building components, the things that are critical for that. And before we get to that guy over there, I'm gonna leave him for a second because that's where frustration starts. I am going to go ahead and pre-merge some of the components that go into the bottom of the ship. So that is going to be our reactor. This is where I was saying before that if you wanted to use the upgrade ship option, let's say you have to build the cheaper version now, and then you have to, from there you're going to upgrade later. If you want the Class B components, the shield, for example, is a Class B shield. If you want to use a Class B reactor and all of that, you have to have piloting rank 3. But there's that plus level are the only barriers to getting access to this. And I wish it said somewhere in the UI what the level requirement was, but it doesn't. Point being, if you were to start with these Z-Machine series of reactors, for example, or you start with one of these Class A reactors, you can't use the upgrade option to move to one of these mag inertials. If you want to have eventually the 104 DS mag inertial, you have to start at least with a 101 DS mag inertial. It will not upgrade automatically from one to the next. So you can't change the type of reactor that you have, the class, the manufacturer. This is made by Dogstar. You can't do that. In the normal upgrade system, you have to use the builder. And since we're going to bury these inside the body of the ship, we really don't want to have to use the builder if we can avoid it in the future. So we're going to do this. Since I have it unlocked, we'll have this guy. And then right on top of him, now I'm going to use... I'm on PC doing this recording, but I do also play on Xbox. I remember some of the controls off the top of my head, but a lot of them are instinct. So if I don't know the control for an Xbox move, I apologize now. On PC, this is G. On Xbox, you can hold left and right trigger and hit A. We're going to place our grav drive right on top. Now, I said before, and this is the same case where it just won't auto-update. Upgrade from one to the next in the upgrade ship section, you have to do it manually in the builder if you switch from like an Aurora to an RD series. So just bear that in mind. We can go with the 12G in order to keep 30 light year jump range after all the weight that we're going to put on this thing. We can stick with the 12G. We don't need to go with the Aurora 13G, and we don't need the RD series. We certainly don't need the RD3000. That's 90 mass versus this one's 65. So I usually try and stick with the lightest mass as I can. And if I am being honest, if I can get away with a class A that is 9 power or 8 power, I do every time. Because I like the least power consumption possible. But this is a heavy ship driven by White Dwarf 3015s. So we're going to need a stronger grab drive than I would prefer. Let's put that back over there. So now we grab these two, and we keep a mouse cursor over top of one of them, ideally this back one, and we duplicate. Now, it can choose to go up or down. Usually it goes up first. So now we have that, and we can delete this guy, and this guy. And now the grav drive and the reactor are inside of each other. We're going to put our fuel tank next. Notice when you use the click point to select what you're going to build next, it limits it to what fits there. So we're going to do the 500T HE3 tank. Other tanks can work on this ship. You just may have to place them somewhere else. I like to have at least 300 grav fuel on my ship. These come with 210, and that means I'm going to add 2 of these, and I'm going to merge them into these. So, kept hitting the wrong key there. Undo. If you move your cursor at all during that dupe, it will fail. So dupe down, click. Delete that, don't need it. And then dupe down again. You went up. Of course you did. There we go. So those are done. A lot of those stacked inside of each other. So now that is a lot of things. We're going to do one more of these, and we're going to put him... Sorry? Oh, go down. Come on, you. There we go. There we go. There's that. We'll bring our little window over here. Put him on the bottom. He's underneath. As if anybody could ever be inside looking out. And that is going to be our completely merged thing. That window will go away when we're done building. But for right now, when you double click on this, or I think it's right bumper or whatever, we'll select everything that's attached on console. But that guy's now ready to go. He will be underneath the ship, and the docker will be merged with him. Because of course it would. And now I need the engines. We'll go ahead and pull one of those out. We don't need to pull in any more than that, because we will be using this 3015. What else? What else? What else? What else? Oh, the Docker. Might as well get that out while I'm at it. We'll be using this guy in the upside down configuration. I think we're good. Okay, now to the part that's going to freak people out or make them go, oh man, really? Alright, so if you've done any duping and any glitch building, you may have noticed that this has some strange behaviors. So, as we pointed out before, there are 3 of these, right? And they want to be in a certain configuration for a standard build, right? It wants to be like that and like that. That's very tall. That's 3 blocks tall. So if I bring over one of these guys, we'll get a nice visual representation for this for once I'm done with the next step. So that's how tall they are. I'm going to pull this guy back. Now you notice, you may have noticed when I was glitching that something special happened. That's green. I can click it. They are inside of each other. They're inside of each other again. It will do that infinitely. It will. So let's bring this guy over. Look at that. 1 block shorter, all 3 engines are still there. And if you'll notice, this looks like a seamless, just concrete wall, doesn't it? It's like, boom. Alright. That's how we're going to get our vertical glitching done. This is now our vertical glitch build platform. We're going to do everything else off of. Now, they're not attached to each other, just the top and the bottom link, because if you look, the top and the bottom touch. So they are linked together, they're connected because their top and bottom connect points are touching. But the middle one, his connect points are in dead center vertically of the other 2. So he isn't attached to anything. You can double click him or bumper click him all you want. You won't get all 3. And that's where we're going to do some magic. So we're going to bring this guy over here. I don't know why I went down. Flip him. We want him in the middle, which is where he's going to be. For now, I'll move him out of the way. I'm going to put this guy forward. No, I'm not. I'll need it. I'm going to pull this guy over here. And put him there. Because he is going to be our merge guy. And what I mean by that is we're going to merge lock these guys in place with each other so that all 3 layers are linked together. So I have those. I'm going to need this guy handy because he's going to do our linking. And I'm going to need this guy handy because he's also going to do our linking. Nope. They don't like it. They do not like that. This can attach to a weapon. If I drag him close to the weapon, it goes crazy. So, all right. So to do this, I'm going to pull this guy in, flip twice, and release him. And we do the same over here. Flip twice, and release him. Alright, and actually, before I go too much farther, I'm going to do this. Because he can already be there, and that's fine. I'm going to do the same on both sides. And now I'm too high. Okay. And I'll put these guys back. Flip it back, flip it forward. Release. He's out of position, notice. So you just dupe him back up. Because right now, he has nothing else to connect to other than this piece on the side. If this one had been in place, he would have connected to this guy and he would have snapped right back into place. In fact, I'll do that. Actually, he's going to jump up too. So, doesn't matter. We can even try the rotation flip and it's still going to do the same thing. So, glitch him back up with a dupe. He's in place. Now this piece goes through the engine a bit, doesn't expose itself on the rear at all, but it merges into the engine. And it's also, if you notice, it's right below the wing. That's what we want. It's touching the bottom of this wing that should not be there, right? We're then going to take this guy, put him on that, bring him over and up. Put him in the middle for now. Whoa, come back down here. I said down. Okay. So from here, how do we get all of this merged so that everything is linked? This isn't linked, those guys aren't linked because the wings aren't linked to these. It's all made possible by this guy. Because what we're going to do is what's called the drop down glitch to drop him into there. And what happens is once he is in place in that spot, that weapon is attached to both the weapon plate, the equipment plate, and the wing simultaneously. And because he's connected to both, they join into effectively one connected series of pieces. And then, of course, the wing is attached to the middle tier. So anything attached middle tier becomes one with it. And then the equipment plate is attached to the Stroud cap. So that starts merging everything. And when you put the top cap on, top cap is merged with the bottom cap or linked to the bottom cap, and everything joins together. It's magic. So to get that on there, what we're going to do is move this back out of the way. Dupe this over once. Put him inside. Flip, flip, release. He's in there. You can see him down inside. Oh, undo. I targeted the wrong thing. Glitch that over, or dupe it over. Glitch this back inside. Flip, flip, release. Put this on top. Delete. Delete. And then on PC, this is spacebar. Click. Do not move your mouse cursor when you do that. I believe that is X or some button like that. There's a button that will do that on the controller. I just can't remember off the top of my head what it is. But now, look at that. It's magic, right? Just putting those equipment plates down in there with weapons attached links it all together. And it's not the same, by the way. It's not the same if you put the weapon on before or afterwards, totally afterwards with the wing. You want this equipment plate to drop down through the wing and have the wing already in position. That's how it works best. I've had nothing but problems trying to do it any other way. Now I can do back and forward on this and get it in place, and it did not hop up or out of the way because it knew it could attach to this cap's back point, because that back edge attach point is inside this engine. Nothing's attached to it. So this said, all right, I can attach there, and it's stuck like glue down to that base. So I can do that here too. Back forward, release. And there we have that. That is effectively the back part of our whole ship. That's done, right? Except it's not. So this is how you would do it if you weren't doing the horizontal glitching. Horizontal glitching brings a whole new set of problems with it. So that requires a whole new build. And I am going to do that now because there's some additional trickery involved in that one. Okay. So that was just to show you that technique. And this is a brand new technique. So this one is going to use a few more pieces to get some fancy footwork done. Okay. So first things first, let's get him in place. Duplicate, flip once, and click without moving your cursor, and it'll put those all in there together. We're going to need that configuration later, so I'm going to go ahead and make a copy of it over here and leave it alone. And that means we can get rid of this guy and come back. Okay, Oh, and I'll also need one of these in a minute. With that on top. Come here. Come here. Get over there. Okay. Now what we're doing here is the horizontal glitching. We're basically combining two glitch tactics to get both vertical alignment glitching, like that triple stack, and then also we're doing it with horizontal stacking. And what I mean by that is this. We are taking this guy and we're going to make him live here. Now this is definitely doable on console. I've done it on console. It's not as easy. It's definitely easier on PC. I will not say otherwise. Now with this, you want to do the variation flip. Back and forward. Now you'll notice when I variation flip backwards, that flat edge is lined up with that Deimos hull flat edge. That's what we want. And you'll also notice that I'm moving left to right. I want to make sure that that middle seam of the attach point of the wing that I'm flipping is lined up directly across the X that is the middle point of the Nova wing. Oh, I got a little bit off. And we can also tell with the tip of the Deimos wing, we want to make sure it's in line with the other one. Keep in mind, the one on the right is attached to actual legitimate attach points. So he's in a normal position. We want to try and mimic him one half step to the left. But since I've flipped him a couple times, I'm going to tab to release him. He stays in place. He's not attached to anything, but he's there. He is our new friend. Whoop, get over here. I don't like it when it does that. So now, the next step is we're going to eventually flip this around, meeting this and creating the peak, right? But we're going to get this guy in place first, right there. Because if we do this any other way, if we don't attach him to him before we attach everything else, this will eventually glitch out and it will not work the way we want it to. And it bug out, or I guess glitch is a funny word to use there. Irony, right? Alright, so now we pull this guy out, flip him around, and we're going to put him into this position, but he's not going to want to stay there because he doesn't have a snap point that he's aware of. We're going to put him in place and create a snap point, but we're trying to line these up so that it looks like they're completely merged together already, right? That's what we're trying to do. And what we're going to do is to lock them in place, we use a weapon to make it think this weapon is attached to this weapon mount, this wing, and this wing. This is temporary because we're going to come back and we're going to drop the equipment plate in place instead. Now, did you see what I did there? I got it close. If I go back any further, it snaps too, but it won't click because it's red when it lands. But if I get it here, when I clone this, it's going to want to go a little to the right and a little back. And because it's trying to go this diagonal, it'll see this nearest attach point, which is the dead center of these two Nova wings overlapping. It'll attach there. And because that attach point is touching this one and this one, all four attach points become one. And now, everything's joined together. So, we then take these, and undo. Double click this. Clone the whole thing, get them out here. We take these and move the whole thing in here. Notice it's middle attach point. That's what we wanted. Move him in here. We will grab the engine, pull it over. This engine, pull it over. And I bet you can guess what we're doing next. We're putting this guy in. Oop. We're putting this guy in on both sides, and then we're going to drop these into place. So get in there. Tab to release. He went too low. Glitch upwards with a dupe. Okay. Clone you that way. Flip, flip. Release. Clone upwards. Okay. So now those are in place. That means we are now ready to receive these. So I will delete this. Delete this. Duplicate him across. Oh, can't go across. Gotta go up. Because those weapon mounts, those Horizon weapon mounts, take more vertical space than Nova Wing does. Okay. Dupe him down because here it's too high in the air to do the drop down glitch. We have an extra one there we can remove. Then we can take this guy, move him there, move this over here, and delete, and drop down. Drop down. Oh, undo. Drop down. Really? I must have moved my mouse. There we go. Now, and bring this over here, flipping backwards. And now he wants to snap to that bottom wing. And tab, and everything's connected. Look at that. Look at that. That's schmexy. Okay, now we're going to do some additional magic with wings. Just to get the rear of the ship lined up the way I like it. Flip you over. Now you're at the right level. So, did you see that? Let me do that again. So sometimes when you dupe and flip, it'll snap even though it's inside other stuff. That's what we wanted. So we know he'll be back here. And then he has no attach point here yet. Ugh, sorry, it goes here. So flip, flip, release. Sorry, I need to get, excuse me, need to get this guy here or I'm going to lose something I just built. So let me point that out. This attach point here has to have something attached because that links the interior of the ship body to this Deimos wing that I put here. This Deimos wing isn't connected to anything except this, which makes the two free floating. And I put that there though, and everything joins together. Okay, so really? Okay. So what I was trying to do is when you select all and hit space on keyboard, again, it's that drop down button, the same button that you would use to do a drop down glitch on console. But you do that real quick and it'll line everything up. This Deimos wing, the back attach point just attached to this is what happened. Now these will go away and we'll put a weapon mount there in its place to secure that link. But for now, that's how we got that in place. So now it's all lined up and we can put that there. And then we can go and grab this guy. Move him over like that. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. And flip, flip, put in place. There we go. Back half of our ship is taking shape. Look at that. There we go. So, from here, what do we do next, Rick? Alright, we need to move some stuff out of the way again. I guess you can live there for now. That's fine. All right. What we need is a Deimos here and another Deimos here in front of it. So there's a couple different ways we can pull that off. Easiest is to pull these forward. Oh, escape. I said escape. Phone that up. Bring one across. And then take them down. Then we delete the extras. We don't need those anymore. This isn't attached to anything. You can double click it all day or bumper click it. It's not going to do anything. So up one, over, down, escape, down, down. Delete, delete, delete. Oop, I shouldn't have deleted that one. Control Z. The undo button, I think it's left on the plus pad on controller. So, okay, delete, delete. Now we delete that one. And there we go. So now we got these two sitting over top of those Deimos wings and over top of our merge place. And now we can put these guys back. Tab. And tab. And now just clone him down, delete him. Do the same thing on the other side because they're going to want to attach to the Deimos holes. Clone him down. And then when we do the bottom one, wow. So many snap points. Tab. It doesn't always know what to do with all the snap points that you give it. But you can kind of budge your way through it eventually. Alright, so now, next, we need the ability to have one of these. See how that wants to snap there? But we need it to snap here. That's where we need it. There's where it wants to be. So, what we need to do is get this in there, snap it, flip it, release it. If you just clone and try and put it in there without putting it in open space first, then it can bug out. You see how that connected? That's because of all that merging we did back here to get those things in line in this direction. So we'll do the same thing over here. He wants to snap, we flip him anyways. There we go, there we go. Alright, now we're going to pull this guy over. We're only going to use 2 of these in the whole build. First one goes here. See how it just jumps in there? That's because of those Deimos holes we put in place. So, pop them in. And I use the variation flip 3 times. He pops out. And I just hit the space bar and click them back in place automatically. So, flip him. And this one will try and do that flip glitch, and he worked fine. All right, next we're going to need one of these over here. Pull the last one of these over here. So, a little bit of trickery. Put him there, flip, tab. There, flip, tab. And that moved as they landed. Okay. Now we put that there. And there. Everything's attached. Starting to look like a ship. We no longer need these. But we do need. You notice? Attachments went away. That's because this needs to be down there. Remember, that's what I said before. The Deimos hole that was sitting there was holding everything together. And now everything's held together on the left side and the right side, and our halves will join the two. Yep. All right, so the one thing I want to do before I get too far, I'm going to move this out of the way, and I'm going to move this out of the way, because we're going to take this guy, this merge glitched monstrosity, and we're going to bring him over there, and he is now holding everything together on the bottom. I will go under the ship and kiss the wing goodbye. Or not the wing, the portal. Put that in the middle, flip, flip, release. That in the middle. Oh, I said in the middle. Flip, flip, release. He didn't want to go in the middle, but we'll clone him down anyways. Delete. So that is now in place, and that's cool. We'll put this right there. And we're going to put a hab on top of it. The hab is going to snap down into this connect point and the connect point right there, that top one. So it'll connect here and here. And we're going to use an all-in-one hab. If you're building this for solo play, then you totally don't need the all-in-one. I would run with a captain's quarters or a workshop, something like that. And if you are doing this for solo play, or you only ever run with one or two companions, I actually recommend the Teo bridge, the Samurai or the Himeji, whatever it is. One of those bridges rather than the Viking. If you want to be able to have a bed and have up to 4 crew plus Sarah, because Sarah's free, then you want to run with a Viking bridge. But if you're only running 2 crewmen, I would run the Teo bridge. It's much cleaner, it's better visibility, it looks sleeker. Oh hey, we don't need you anymore. This one and this one go to the back. We don't need that anymore. These go to the back of the ship. It's coming along. It's coming along nicely. Most of the rest of these are touch-up detail pieces. Okay. Had time. Now, since I'm using a Viking bridge, I find that Viking bridges work best. They look more fluid with Stroud pieces because it's effectively a Stroud commissioned cockpit. Down a little bit. We'll put our cockpit piece here. That is the Viking. I use the CP220. You can use any of them if you don't like the extra mass accrued by the larger bridge. Now this is going to snap down. Before we do that, I want to move a piece that I forgot to move earlier, or clone earlier. Get our double wing on the front. We then pull the Deimos hull out of the way, if it'll let me grab it. And select both of these with bumpers or control on console. And then drop down, glitch them into place. Yeah, buddy. Now our bay is kind enough to fit exactly between the weapon holders, the weapon mount points that we added to hold everything together structurally. So he will just snap right there, no glitching necessary. Next we're going to need to put the Deimos hull on top of the ship because we're going to fit this into place. To do that, I'm going to move this out of the way for a second. Put him up there because he wasn't at the right vertical tier that he needed to be at. He was too low, and it would have been a pain in the butt to glitch him into there. Now to do that, it's easier if you do this, and then flip twice, release, and there we go. He is now in place. Now, the reason I put this on top is because if you do that flip glitch with the docker without something on top of this hab, the docker will try and merge through this hab, and the top of its attach point will be here. And the docker will be inside this hab, and it will not work. It won't function. It won't let you complete the build of the ship that way. None of that will work. Let's get this guy up here. Now, this window here doesn't really function, really, but, you know, it doesn't look complete if I don't put it there. Alright, I no longer need that. So we are now down to cosmetic pieces, weapons, landing gear. So, let's take these off again, because we're putting these in place. Up. Flip. Alright, and get over here. Oh my gosh. I'm building up in the sky. That's half my problem. Flip twice, release. Flip twice and release. Nope, back one first. Okay, and now we're going to get a version of him backwards, upside down, and he goes bottom right there. Perfect. Double flip, release, and I'm going to put him on top to start with. Because then I clone and dupe him, turn him, and then he flipped upside down and attached to the front attach point here. So now he's in place, and we can get the next order of business. So that is to flip this upside down, grab, if it'll let me grab that guy. Now, we used 2 of these weapons to help get everything in place and merge together. And that is, by the way, where I place my shield. We're going to put this near the front of the ship because that's where he's going to go. But this guy and this guy are going to come up there. Okay, and I'm going to come back down. So, we used 2 of these to merge ship pieces together. We've used none of these yet, which means I have 6 of these to place and 2 of these to place. And what better way than to make them all occupy 1 square? Oh, what are you doing? Escape? That's too close. Double click. Space. Look at that. 2 2 suppressors, 1 spot. 2 girls, 1 merge point. Okay, let's never say that again. Alright, so this time I'm going to place this gun close to this gun. I'm going to dupe 1 more off to the side real quick. Undo. You can't move your mouse cursor or your controller cursor when you're doing those maneuvers. That is now 3 guns on top of 1 weapon plate. And I am going to dupe him because he can have 6. His power level is only 2. And then move him over. And he's good to go. So we'll delete that. Move him over into his potential resting home. Leave him there. Put this there. Move that out of the way. Drop down. Clever, right? Flip. Now he has nothing to attach to. So him we're just going to have to line basically up, double flip, release, and then double click and position the ship. And now he is mounted. Everything else is too. So now the final piece is to put the, well, third to final piece. Wow, getting ahead of myself. So I want to attach the engine. I mean, wow, I want to attach the weapons. Escape. So to do that, you need to get these, just like the spark suppressor before. You need to get these to where when they clone, they go to the spot you're trying to attach them to, which is getting them as close as you can, like that, without actually letting them attach, because they're red when they attach. Undo, undo. So those two are clipped in. That will attach on its own with no glitching. That will attach when you clone it. That one will too, but it went to the wrong spot. Down. Come on, camera controls. Work with me here. Undo. You just keep retrying it until it's green. Alright, all weapons have been mounted. Let's go ahead and sign them in the flight check. Obliterator, Hellfire, Suppressor. Okay. Now, a couple things still need to be done here. One, I have added no cargo. And two, I only have 2 engines when I'm going to Rock 4. So, the reason I haven't yet is I'm going to color the ship, and then I'm going to put the final 2 engines in place with dupe glitches. So I'm not there yet. I've got to do... and I need landing gear. So I need landing gear, and I need 2 cargo holds. So... Oh, and I also... I neglected to mention and point out before, I got 2 pieces of equipment at Porima at the Red Mile to do scan jammers before I came here. So I have to install those also. But the cargo that I'm going to use is 2 of these, the ballast shielded cargo hold. This is not a heavy cargo ship, it never will be, because it is a Class A superfighter that has the fastest engines in the game in it, and you don't want to mess with that top speed or the maneuverability. If you're not rocking the highest maneuverability on a ship like this, you are doing it wrong. Just my opinion. So I place those there, and this here. Flip him into place. Undo, undo. And you do the double tap and space trick on mouse and keyboard to get it all synced up. So now cargo is in place. And then I just need landing gear. I'm going to put the Nova Galactic landing gear here. The single strut version. The double strut version will go here. But we also need to make sure they are attached to the top attach point here. So they actually attach to the bottom of this level. So right there. So to do that, to make it easier, we will move this out of the way to begin with. And I will get my gear, other direction. I'll get gear. We'll get this guy and immediately drag him out of the way. He is now at the vertical level we want him to be at. Okay. So now the trickery, this is usually the hardest part of this build, or the most frustrating part, because he wants to snap frickin' everywhere. Now you could leave the portal, the looking glass there from earlier, and it would prevent that and that and that, but I didn't do that. Just a little you don't see how it jumped forward to that snap point as soon as it gained side attach points on the landing gear. So you have to really play with this to get it to do what you want. There we go. Jump to the back. Doesn't always do that. Sometimes it jumps to a different position and it makes it a serious pain in the ass. Sorry for my words there, but I do cuss a lot normally. Alright, landing gear is in place. We got the 2 and the 1 and a load-bearing loading bay. Don't tell me otherwise. Alright, so now we're going to color the whole ship. You can color it whatever you want, but I'll show you my color scheme choices. And then once the colors are applied the way you want them, then duplicate these engines in place one more time to get 4 total, or just stick with your 43 mobility and be happy. Me, that's not going to happen. All right, so I use 3 colors, or four colors? 4 shades of black / gray, and then a shade of red. All right, so I'm going to color this piece. Just, it doesn't matter, I'm going to do one piece first. I will start with black. It's easy to recreate black, even on controller. So there's 4 clicks to the right, and this one will be 8 clicks to the right. And we will hit enter on that piece. We will enter that piece's color menu again, and do a red for this. Oops. And a red for this. And now we do the whole ship. Start with the medium gray? Light gray. The lightest gray. Okay, so we'll do the whole ship in this gray first. And then we take these pieces, top and bottom, and highlight them. Undo. Any slight movement in your mouse while clicking and it thinks you're trying to drag it, so can be frustrating. Take some patience. All right, this will be color, and we will set the main color to the slightly darker gray, and the third color to the black. So now it fades to darker as it gets away from the center of the ship. And then we will select all of these visible gray wing pieces, including the cargo, including those Deimos hulls. Being very careful not to move the mouse while pressing down on the clicker. Boop, boop, boop. All of this stuff is going to turn pitch black. Sorry, that piece too. All of that goes completely black. Just making sure there's nothing exposed down here that I missed. And no, I'm good. So J. On keyboard anyways, I think it's left bumper on controller. All of that's black. You can see how it's starting to come together. All right, we want these 3, and I believe it's color 1 needs to be lightened just slightly. Not that light. We want it to mostly match. Okay. And then we go with this, and we're going to set, is it color 2? Nope. Color 3. Yep. Right there. Color 3 to that darker gray. And I think color 3 on this one, also to the darker gray. And it might have been color 2 set to black. Yeah. And I think color 3 can go lighter again. Yep. And we'll do that for here. J. Which one's darker? It's that one. Drop black. That's good. Yeah. Yeah. Alright, now let's select all of our wing pieces. And this is where some red's going to come into play, and more black. Alright, so this is J. let's see. Color 1 is going to be our dark red. Color 2 is black. We need to color these. Now, I've been doing all black for these because they touch this black edge. So that's what I'm going to stick with here. But you can play with these colors however you want. Hopefully this is inspiring you to come up with some more color schemes for your own ships. And now, the main color is black. I believe it's color 3. No. Color 3 is also black. Color 2 is where the red comes in, but it's got to be the lighter red to match this red-ish. See how if I go with the darker red, it's almost not visible. So that's because there's a natural black baked into this color. And in fact, go a couple shades lighter. So now those are colored, and we do our final bit of duping. Escape. You always do it from this side. It works a little better. I don't know why. And we'll delete the ones we don't want that spawned underneath. Alright, and we're nominal. So this is a complete build. This is a Razorleaf rebuilt version of my Predator ship design. Of course, there's definitely room in here to customize. You don't have to do these ribs. You don't have to do this piece here. You don't have to have the cargo on the outside. You can, of course, play with the dimensions a bit, use a different cockpit. You could put the Tayo here. That wouldn't be there. But the Tayo here leaves room in this spot for another set of wings, which looks awesome. There's a whole bunch of things you could change about this to customize it to your liking. The big thing was to teach people this vertical stacking and this horizontal stacking to show that you can put pieces in positions that do not seem natural, that are not possible in the base game at all. So it's not just about, oh, I merged these two pieces together. That's so yesterday. I'm joking. No, that's fine merging on its own, but this is like what I consider next level. This can take your build to places that you probably didn't think you could take it in this game. And to me, like ships like this should have been part of the vanilla game. Like you should have been able to buy a ship like this and just marveled at the build construction. You know, I wish I could build ships this way. Well, you can. You can now. I do have a version of this that I build that has those SA 2-power engines, the 2-power Class A engines, the curved ones that I started this triple stack trick and technique with. I do have a version of this that instead of using this has 2 of those where the join point is in the middle of the ship. Using this horizontal glitch trick, I can put all 6 engines here in the space of 2 by 2. And that's, to me, that's pretty slick. I'll probably build that one next and show it off. I'm thinking of doing that with the Star Eagle. So I usually build that ship and call it Renegade or something like that, but I think I'm going to do named ship builds for these this time. Anyways, let's go see what this looks like to get in, take off, fly around. I am not a show-off. I did play most of the game on very hard, but I'm not playing on very hard right now. I am just relaxing. Hello, Razorleaf. You're now my home ship. So I will point out this is all no mods for shipbuilding at all. I do have a single cosmetic mod in my game on PC, and that is to reskin the Mantis armor. That's all it does. And that's what you see me wearing there. So pay no mind. And this is my shipbuilding outpost, with a civilian outpost next door that has a vendor. On Vessel 3. That is a very loud ship there, Mr. Game. Good grief. So yeah, all the weapons work, even though you're technically shooting through your hull and your head. Doesn't matter. It still works. And this has been my version of the Razorleaf. I hope you enjoy. Hope you learned something. If you have any questions, leave comments. And if you're craving any kind of better storytelling than Starfield can offer you, go check out my books, Sissy, Dusk, or Bathe in the Blood of Ravens by R.L.Parker. Available anywhere books are sold. So, peace.